you for joining us on this episode of Diaspora Lounge. We have tried to start this. Yeah, Bishop said it's clear that most of the people coming to our churches are merely seeking social meetings as their lives do not portray a commitment to Christ and the righteousness of knowing and working with God. Truth is the major casualty. The question then is, why is marriage so important in our society if the couples in marriages are carrying on with so much extramarital physical intimacy? People just want to be called or described as married while they continue to live like singles. Sincerely, there is no solution other than caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware. Whatever you can do to protect yourself within the framework of the law should be done. Yeah, how can you explain this? It is even more prevalent with the rich in our society. He said, okay, I think maybe this was edited. Yeah. People should begin to include pregnancy tests in counseling sessions. So then we had a case study. We had a man who said that 4 out of the 5 children that he had discovered were not his. And he hadn't even done the test on the last one because she's still young and he's afraid of how it would impact her, because the older ones now know and they are supporting him, but the other one is still very young and he's afraid of how it would impact her because he still wants to continue being their father, but he is afraid that she might not understand it and she might begin to think that he's not loving her as well because she's still quite young. And so Bishop said that if all 4 children are not his, then there is the likelihood that he's unable to father children. And maybe the wife has seen that and decided to avoid the trouble of being called barren and decided to cover the shame for both of them, for himself and for herself. That doesn't make it any less painful or devious, but this is what happens in a society where being called barren is like a death sentence, and men are never seen as responsible for delayed or no childbirth. And so maybe he should think about doing a medical exam to certify his ability so that he can know, right? Because that can help to bring new perspective to the situation. And he should consider whether he would have preferred to remain childless.
Who is saying that?
Bishop, there's a possibility, right, that maybe the man couldn't father children and the wife had observed that and then decided to do something about it so that people don't talk about them. So now, before the man can take a decision, he's suggesting that maybe he needs to consider going to test to see if the issue might be with him. And then he now needs to also understand perhaps the woman was just trying to cover this for both of them. It won't be less painful, but he now has to really consider it. If this is what she did, then how does he now see it? How does he now feel? Would he rather let everybody know that my wife did this and these are not my children? Would he rather now be known to not have had children? Because I know that this is something real that happens with couples. And I'm sure you know that this is happening with some couples. And the man might actually know.
He said that the the fact that you know, there might have been factors that led, in this particular case study, the woman to go the route of, you know, being intimate with other men, probably to cover the shame of the man and all that, doesn't make it right. I know that he was clear on that. But then he said something about the man checking himself. I really do not see the bearing of the man checking himself on the action of the woman. So let's first start from there. There has been a betrayal of trust. So that's a fact. The woman has betrayed the trust that the man had in her. Now, the other issues that Bishop was trying to bring out, the question about sterility when it comes to men, barrenness when it comes to women. I think this kind of situation gives us a chance to, again, start to talk about some of these things that we usually do not want to look at. We talk about the stigma that women go through when they are not able to have children. We talk about how most of the time the woman is the one blamed, even if the man is the one with a problem. So I think why we're not, clapping for the woman for betraying the man's trust in this case, this is an opportunity for us to start to talk about issues like barrenness, like sterility, surrogacy, adoption, things that for us in this culture are not comfortable discussions that we have been having. Maybe we need to start having open and honest discussions about things like that. Another issue that I think this brings to my mind, because when I started, I said men used to be the ones demonized, labeled as the cheats in the marriage. But this statistic shows that women aren't, so different from men in that regard. Women also stray and engage in extramarital
Extramarital.
affairs as much as the men do. So again, just like discussions around barrenness, sterility, adoption, surrogacy, why don't we start to talk about polygamy for the man as well as for the women? I would rather, I would rather that people come out plainly to say, this is what I believe in. I believe that I am not a monogamous being, and instead, I will embrace polygamy and find people like you and engage in that. I would rather that than deceits and lies and betrayals. So I think our society is very judgmental. Society is very hypocritical, and things like this research, these statistics show that we actually need to move from our get off our high horses and our holier than thou attitudes and start to look critically at all of these issues that we've refused to look at. If polygamy was practiced by our forefathers those many years ago, yes, it had its issues.
Hmm.
Why can't we do the same? And when I say polygamy, I mean that for the man and for the
For
woman,
both. Yeah.
polyamory, polyandry.
Yeah.
Why don't we
Yeah.
start to have honest conversations about those? Because if we do, then we won't need to take somebody's child and give to another person, because then everybody would know that we are in, multiple relationships with multiple people. I would rather that
Hmm.
than the lies and the betrayals. The solution being touted, being checking, doing paternity test after every delivery, for me, does not address these problems. I mean,
Because
this is not me expressing a preference for polygamy over monogamy. What I am saying is, if monogamy is, what works for you, what you believe in, then find somebody like you and try to stay um, loyal and faithful to that person. And if polygamy is what works for you, do the same thing. Find someone that shares the same ideologies, that shares the same beliefs, and explore.
you came back to the truth of the matter. It doesn't. I don't think it matters whether it's polygamy or monogamy. What we have here really is people who are unable to be real, with what they are doing, with their actions, and able to actually carry on deceit, ongoing deceit, and continue to live and go to bed and sleep and wake up as if everything was okay, and look the other person in the face every day and live as if. So even such people, even if they're in polygamy, I believe that it wouldn't stop them from being dishonest. So once you are not, yeah, so once you're not able to, so it just goes. I think the real deep root is in people learning to be honest, right? say Fakorode's opinion. Fakorode is a co-panelist who has a background in Ifa traditions and culture. I want to play what she said, and I think that we can learn a lot from what she shares here. So,
okay. The topic for today is a lovely topic, about covering the issues of DNA, the DNA issues. With the way the world is going, both men and women, both genders are not to be trusted. And let's face it, a lot of us that have been in some relationships, some of us have been betrayed one way or the other, in one way or the other. In fact, some of us have even betrayed some people in one way or the other. This shows that humans, sometimes our behaviors, it can be flawed, So we can't say, oh, I trust this person fully and, this person can't do this. Anything can happen. Sometimes some people don't plan some situations and it happens, This is why we are human beings. We are prone to mistakes. But the situation is just that we most of us and all of us, we should be learning from our mistakes and not repeat the same mistakes. There are different issues, all this DNA, there are different reasons these DNA issues might come up. There are some men that are impotent. They have low sperm count. But because of their ego and the way society has made us see men, some of them, they don't want to go for checkups to see maybe they have issues. And when they get married, the family of these people, they begin to pressure their wives, picking, where children. And maybe some of these wives have gone out for checkups, and the doctor says, you are fine, you're fine. At the end of the day, one way or the other, maybe they get to know maybe their husband has these issues. And they may begin to get advice from friends and family that try and test outside, check. And they might just sleep with a guy once and they get pregnant and like, definitely my husband has these issues. And before you know it, this same person that impregnated them, they might give birth for this person, 3, 4 children. Then they pass on these children of their concubine as their husband's son. And not because they don't love their husbands, but because the husband has refused to do the right thing by trying to check himself, feeling a man has no issues. And they feel like this man is impotent, is sterile. Let's help him out, There are some men that know that they are impotent, they are sterile, and they know that their children are not theirs. But they won't say anything because they know the situations. But there are just some women too that are just promiscuous, I know of some situations whereby a man got married and out of 4 children, 2 are his own biological children, 2 are not his children. And the wife, they had to get a divorce. Do you understand? So there are different situations. I'm not supporting the behavior that a woman should be passing on another person's child as a husband's child. But I'm just saying, when these situations come up, let's try and find out the root cause of the situation. And you'll be surprised that some men actually know that these children are not theirs. But due to one reason or the other, they now decide to speak up later. Maybe because they have gotten a solution to their sterile problems or something came up. Do you understand? So that's just the situation. In the olden days, our grandfathers, our fathers, they had their own system of doing their own DNA. We used to call it Oro Idile. And sometimes they do IFA consultations to determine. Sometimes when in a family, when they give birth to a child, let's take for example the Ilaje part of the Yoruba land, Ondo State, is in Ondo State, Ilaje. When they give birth, to know if this child is a bastard or not, they put the child in the water. If it's a bastard, the child will not be able to swim. The child will almost drown. Then they rescue the child, then give it back to the mother, and then divorce the mother. But if this child is not a bastard, immediately they put the child in the river, the child begins to swim. They know, this is our child. Because larger people, they are natural born swimmers. So this is in their DNA. So they now verify their own children, like, oh, this is my child. This is not, this is a bastard. And so on, and so forth. That is the natural way of DNA. Then in that situation, it's difficult to actually pass on an adult or a teenage child for somebody else as their own child. Do you understand? That's another ways of doing DNA in our ancient days that even we are still using till now. Even this one I mentioned for Nigeria, they are still doing it till now in some families. In Ifa, if your wife is promiscuous, some Mudufa will come up when you go for consultation. And Ifa will tell you that your wife is promiscuous. Even if your husband is promiscuous, it's a shell. And when they make the consultations, they'll tell you your husband is promiscuous. Do you understand? So that is it. That is it. And aside from that, then in the olden days, even till now, there are some of our mothers too that they used to have some men outside, aside from their husbands. Just like men have girlfriends and side chicks. Some of these are mothers, so they used to have man friends and so on. And but they were smart enough that they don't used to get pregnant for them. People are enjoying themselves. That's just the fact. So it's just that it's with these Gen Z people that are just taking a lot of things so personal. A lot of these are parents and a lot of people. Not just maybe our parents, but then in the ancient days, some women had, they too had man friends, men friends, what they call it, concubines. And the husbands knew. Even though at the end of the day, they later got punished, not by the husband, but by the deities, because there are some moral ethics that we all need to follow as humans. And if you refuse to follow it, there's some sort of karma. There are some women that the more they indulge in promiscuity, if I begin to tell them you need to change, and if they don't change, there's some punishment. It could be a form of disease, STD, it could be death. It could be. Same with some men. As someone who fast, if I keep warning you, this your promiscuousness is too much, oh, it's too much, oh, it's too much. You don't change. You know, there might be some points where it could be venereal disease, it could be death, and so on and so forth. So this shows us that both men and women, let us do better as a man and as a woman. Because he's looking at, if based on this presentation of topic now, like all these women giving some people's children as to their husbands, who knows the foundation of what happened? There are some men that they abuse their wives, and these women have found love outside about to divorce. You know what society will say this and so. Before you know, they're sleeping with the boyfriend, side man outside. They get pregnant, they pass it off to their husbands, you know. And some of these husbands too, they are also into side chicks and so on, not giving their wife peace. The wife too feels like, let me try something else. Mistakenly, she gets pregnant, and so on and so forth. So sometimes let's find out the root cause of the situation, not to justify the act, but to understand the root cause of the problem and how to properly address it. But my own conclusion is that it's a very bad behavior to pass off someone else's child off to another man as his own child. Not because it's going to have a big effect on the man, which of course there might be some effect. Some men don't even care about their children. So even if the bastard or no bastard, they don't even care. And some men, it might affect them. Some will almost run mad. But we are even forgetting the impact, negative and spiritual impact of passing off someone else's child to another man. The effect on that child. In fact, a lot of negativity that we see in this world today arose from people not being in their real father's homes today. In fact, in the verse, in the Bible makes us know that passing off, being a bastard normally, they call it being a bastard normally in Yoruba. A bastard not in his own father or our own mother's house, it can make some negativity rise up in that child. Like being gay, for example. Our ancestors traced one of the effects of being a bastard. One of the results they said being gay, you sleeping, a man sleeping with a fellow man, a woman sleeping with a fellow woman. So the moment you pass up another person's child to another person, you are negativity, sorry, this English one too. You are negative. Oh God, you will impact the child negatively. You will impact the child negatively. Except by some form of miracle or some other factors, this child just turns out good.
Okay. When you lie about something, right? When something is not straightforward, it's going to have some issues. It's not going to be straightforward. And I think that's what is happening to us as Africans. For instance, this thing about going and bringing other people's children into your home. You know that in the olden days, right? When someone did something, they will be ostracized and things will begin to happen in the society, and they will say the deities are not happy or the land is not happy or something. that's because someone has done something wrong. But since we have assimilated a system where we feel like as long as you have claimed that you are a child of God, you do whatever you want to do, and then later on you can go and ask for forgiveness. You are already a child of God, you will have forgiveness. I think that we are bastardizing ourselves and things and truth. I'm always begging that if we can just be truthful instead of worrying about Cher and Tony, let us just be truthful in the things that we do. Once we are truthful, things will just fall into place. We'll still have challenges, but those challenges, at least nothing is hidden. You are not wondering where the problem is coming from because you know what is happening. But I know it's a little too late in the day because there are those of us who will continue to do those things and we're already sipped. Those things have already sipped into us. The system that we're living in, which does not encourage truth, doesn't encourage the systems that we have in place do not encourage truth. And also, I will say that even in a marriage, right, I find it shocking many times that somebody will say that their children ended up not being the man's children and the man had no idea. Because one of the things that happens is if you are in a relationship, you see people talking about the other day, I think Shaya was talking about when a man tells his wife that he doesn't want her to dress that way to go out. And I'm like, when people say these things, you are not to be telling people don't dress that way because a woman who is married knows that she shouldn't dress that particular way to go out. So if she's dressing in that particular way to go out, it tells you something about the way she regards that marriage, right? So why are we ignoring the truth? The truth is that this person does not value this relationship. And instead of me now getting upset, like sometimes some of us will get upset, oh, my partner doesn't like my jokes, doesn't buy me gifts, doesn't buy me birthday, doesn't remember. The person is not interested. Why are you waiting for them to? Even if they say it to you, you will not start begging them. You are trying to force something that is not the truth. And that is what we're struggling with. Am I?
Still,
I hope I'm communicating.
the
That's what we're
network is still
struggling
bad.
with a lot of the times.
The
I told you,
network,
Shai, the other day that a woman that kept
I
on
was,
complaining, her
you
husband
know,
has had children outside and he's always going out and bringing her
I
STDs.
can't hear you.
And he's always going out and bringing STDs. I'm like, and she's always checking his phone. I'm like, leave this man alone. Stop bothering this man. You're checking his phone all the time, bothering him. Yeah, he started again. He's doing this, he's doing that. Obviously, that man is not satisfied with that marriage. Now you're trying to force him to do something that he doesn't want to do, and you're coming and complaining to everybody that the man is doing something wrong. Whereas you are already seeing it, right? Why are you trying to play God in the person's life? The truth will set us free, but the more that we continue to insist on refusing the truth, we will just be having more and more problems. We'll just be having more and more.
Yeah, I agree, and which was why I said what I said before. What I was trying to say is that all of us make up the society, and the standards and rules that we impose on ourselves, we need to have honest, open conversations about them. What Fakorede said about, yeah, and Bishop echoed the same thing about, maybe the man is sterile and unable to have children. It could also be the woman who is barren. And then I'm just saying, not this particular case, but generally speaking, this can go either way. But if these are things that we openly talk about, I have a problem as a man, and I openly tell the woman, I let my family know that the problem is not with her, the problem is with me. What do we do if we want children so much? What are the options? Do we go for a sperm donor and do IVF? Do we go for adoption? These are the kind of open, honest
Mhm.
conversations that we should be having. But a case where the woman feels pressured, The man is hiding the truth about his condition. He's not telling his family, letting his family pressure the woman. The woman is feeling bad. I mean, this still, I would still say this. I'm not excusing the behavior of anyone, man or woman, but I am saying that society should get to a point where we are honest and truthful to ourselves and face things head on. Let's not,
Let me ask,
yes,
let me ask. So if this man, Mr. B,
yes,
is sterile, is unable to have children,
yes.
right? And people know. So bloody what?
Yes. So
What? So
well,
what?
that's why I said the kind of standards that society puts on us, we need to have conversations about those standards. Does the fact that I'm sterile make me less of a man? Does the fact that I decide not to have children make me less of a woman? Because there are people who are, fertile women and men who make decisions not to have children. Does that make
Mhm.
them lower humans than people who decide to have children?
I
No.
mean,
These are personal choices, So society needs to get to a point where we become very, very comfortable with having these conversations. Because when people feel that they can be themselves, and there are people who are in relationships. I mean, I'm not saying it's the ideal, but look at Ned.
Woko.
He's openly a polygamist, and the women who have agreed to be part of that lifestyle seem to be happy about it. My dad had two wives. Both women say if they come back to this world again, they will look for him and marry him again. That may not work for many others, but it worked for them. But you see, if we're not open and honest about our beliefs, our preferences, what we'll continue to get is lies and deceit.
We are the ones creating our own pains.
People's children to others, or men secretly fathering children outside. Why do we need to do that when we can be open and honest? And if what we want to do is to, talk about multiple relationships, as in polygamy and polyandry and polyamory, why not? Let's begin to have those honest conversations with ourselves, because until we start to do that, then would this trends will continue, and it's very, very, very um painful, and it's something I would not support at all, like passing on another man's child to another man. I mean, if this were to happen to me, I would not abandon the kids, right? Because I know that biology does not define fatherhood, right? I would still, embrace my kids and love them as if they were my own. But truth, it's non-negotiable. Truth is
It's not
non-negotiable.
negotiable.
Yes. So
Um,
this is important. It's important for us to have these honest conversations. What is at the root of all of this is because we as a society, as individuals, we lie to ourselves a lot. This is the cause of a lot of the problem. We have not confronted who we really are.
what does it even benefit us?
We
What do the
haven't.
lies? The lies only bring us more
Mm,
problems. They only bring us because once that lie is there, you're going to when things are happening, you're not going to be able to say this is what you're supposed to do because what you're supposed to do is going to be a result of something that you don't want people to know. So now you have to keep quiet, and the wrong thing will be done, and it will worsen. It's like you know that you're supposed to put salt in that soup, and you allow them to put sugar in it. You're going to have the wrong thing, So we're really in trouble. We're really in trouble, and the place. I mean, if we can begin to, I think that a lot of these things really just came from us abandoning our way of life, our ways of life. Because then people held truth as truth was the highest priority and value, right? Because people were concerned about what karma they would face. And till today, we're still facing karma, but we don't even recognize it in all the things that come to us. And karma is not, I don't think that karma is magical or mystical the way that we see it. It's simply that,
Biological.
huh?
Kind of
Huh?
biological sometimes. It's not mystical.
Karma is actually, it's you can explain it.
Hmm.
It's just that,
That's
yes,
why I
you
said
can explain it
biological.
if you only had the facts.
Yes.
Huh?
That's why I said
If you only
biological,
had the facts.
scientific. Yes. Not
Yeah.
necessarily mythical or
Yeah.
mystical.
Share, yes.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes. We can
Yes, we can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Okay. It's so unfortunate that network has dealt with me tonight. I was switching from one network to the other. Even at that, it was not even forthcoming. Now, this is my point. Ujo, you just talked about that we abandoned our ways. You understand? I mean, our cultural value, our cultural affiliation, our tradition that have given back to this avalanche of deceit and all that. You may be right to, it's even debatable. And I'm going to put that to you. It's just a pity that Yaonifa, she's not on ground to ascertain or dispute or fight against whatever I'm going to say now. Now, this is it. You see, if a woman is married to Babalawo or a spiritualist, if she leaves her house to go and to go and engage in extra marital, what do you call it now?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. So if she engages in that, if she comes back and the spiritually decide to die Ifa, and then consult the Ifa to know if the woman has gone out to shit on him, the Ifa will indicate that, okay, this madam that have gone out to, she has actually do something behind you, and the man will know. And now let me now tell you stuff. This will interest you. Now, the Iyawo or the wife of the priest, I don't know how they manage to know that if they are going out, they must take one of the cowries. Is it that cowrie or what do you call this thing or this ekuro? This thing that they use to palm kernel.
Okay.
You know, sometimes they use that. Yes. So they will take one and tie it to their wrapper and they will go out.
Mm-hmm.
So when they return, they will replace that thing. If Baba should die far to consult, he will not get it. And he will tell them that she has not gone out.
Mm-hmm.
What am I trying to say? The defeat of mankind is as old as mankind itself. I don't believe that life begins in the Garden of Eden as they have told us. But even if we want to toe that line, look at the beginning. Somebody told them, do not eat this thing. Another person told them, eat it, and nothing will happen. You understand? So I am saying, whatever I'm trying to say is that even in the days of staunch practices, all those strong belief and whatever doing it, they still have a way around it.
What do you mean they have a way around it? What do you actually mean? Are you trying to say that after they've done it, being found out is not the issue? The issue is the repercussions. Being found out is not really.
What I'm trying to say in black and white is that
deceit is as old as man.
The measure that is being put in place, mankind or human being find a way to
circumvent it.
Yeah, we can circumvent and deceive other human beings, but we're
the consequence now.
Yeah. So but the consequences will still come to bear. That's the thing.
Like now at German, you have the instant judgment, whereby making a lot of women not doing such. Do you understand what I'm?
Sorry, no, say that again.
saying that he wants a Delta State, and they told us if you cheat on our son, you will die. And the
Oh, your audio is cutting out. Your audio is cutting out.
What?
Your audio cut out. What was that?
Should I myself?
Okay, you're saying that someone got instant judgment, right?
No, he's saying back in the day that the judgment used to be instant.
Okay, yeah, so we've diluted things.
Have been forced to behave is because they have the instant consequence.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And the know does not know, is not the know-how that I talked about is not known to majority of them.
Yes.
That if they know, they will find a way around it. You understand?
Yes. Yes.
Whatever with the problem we are facing is as old as humanity, except the fact that we have shifted the goalpost. Like the Bible says, remove not the ancient. You don't even know the landmark, neither do we even know the stone. You understand? So that's why we problem is as old as they can be. Do you understand now?
Oh, it's okay though. It's okay. Like what Spark already ended with, she was like, if you go and do that as a woman, you don't know what you've done in the life of your child, right? You may not see it and you may not actually know that this is the reason why things have happened the way they've happened. But you are doing something, you have planted something and you have set something in motion, right? And it's not mystical at all. So at the end of the day, it's on us if we decide to not be truthful with every. I mean, even some things that I do are not straightforward, right? I'm saying that, and even as I am doing it, I already know, also you're going to pay for this thing, and then you will see the thing happening. Do you understand? So it's just, let us not lie to ourselves, right? So as much as possible, we should keep in mind that we are hurting ourselves with anything that we're doing that isn't straightforward. We're hurting ourselves. We can't escape. There's nothing that we're going to escape. So if anybody has that impression that they're going to wait until judgment day, before that day they would have asked for forgiveness, it's okay. You're believing in the lies that you believed all these years. You are just paying for it. You and your children are paying for it, and you have no idea, right? So that's my own message. That's what I'm going to
When Shaya was speaking and listening to Fakorede, I mean, they said some very interesting stuff. But I always wonder when Ifa wants to punish people, why is it the women that are always the ones punished? Like
Abba, why would you say that?
men, the men go out all the time and the men don't get punished. It's the women that
I,
punishment is reserved for. I mean, talking
I
about,
don't think so.
I've never heard that a man went out and Ifa decided to punish the man. Please, please,
Uh,
if I am
let,
wrong, let
let,
me know.
Shaya wants to. Yeah, Shaya wants to answer. Shaya, yes,
Can I answer that?
Yes,
yes,
please. I want to learn.
If a married woman should tiptoe outside to go and engage in something that is wrong,
yes.
do you know what will happen?
What?
Most times, the husband will suffer for it. Most times, the husband will sick and die.
So what Tony is asking is why doesn't he hear?
I'm coming. Connect the dots now.
All right.
I am saying, he felt it's only a woman that suffers it. I'm telling you that I've just told you in Delta State. You can ask them.
No, in my states, Edo states, they say that if a woman goes out, the man, if he has intercourse with her, can die. They say that in my state, Edo state.
That what? Who can die?
The
If
man.
the husband has intercourse with her.
I'm corroborating what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that not a huge punishment too?
Why?
Sometimes the kid.
But that's not what that's not what Tony. That does not address what he asked.
You don't understand. That is not straight jacketed. Yes, Tony is referring to Ifa, and I'm telling you about another African spirituality.
Why are you leaving what he asked to be
I
answering
hear you,
something?
Shea. I hear you, and I know this because even in my own tradition,
This
they say
that didn't connect the dots.
I hear what you're saying, and I am just telling you that you are doing. You know, one day I said to Share, what did I say? Share just likes to do these things. I can't remember what I said. The guy said, I said, You know that, you know that, people forget that not every parent is safe for the child, right? Because I said no. I said people forget that some parents have insanity, right? But they are just not in the hospital. They are just as insane as those people on the streets, and they do certain things to their children that really hurt their children. And Shaya's response to me was that it has been proven that the children of mad people who eat from the streets have very high immunity. I'm like, what is the connection with what I said with your response? I beg, let's see, Tony, see, the reason why you don't hear those things, is the same way that people give you examples from the Bible and they tell you, uh, always making it look as if the men should be dominating women. Those things are things that people have chosen to say, right? Even when they tell you, always when you're hearing that if I these women, there are lots of things too that they say about when a man does this to his wife and or to his children. But you hear that one more, just in the same way that they say, submit yourselves unto one another, right? But people prefer to say, wives be submissive unto your husbands. They make something more popular. Somebody is making something more popular, right?
Exactly.
But the other one exists. So,
Yeah, but this is still part of the lies and deceit I'm talking about.
mm,
We've always said, or society, researchers have always said men are the ones who stray in marriages. But we are seeing that women have always known that anyway,
it's
because
nice.
man and woman were the same. We just lie to ourselves. Women are as guilty as the men. So
And because of that
if
lie,
the problems that the men are facing with, oh, too many fine women outside, and the women also have too many fine men outside. So why can't all of us be honest?
it's fine. And
Talk.
because of that lie,
Why can't all of us be
people,
honest and talk and decide if I want to be in a monogamous relationship, find someone who holds the same beliefs and the same values and stay true to that person. If I want to be in
only and this
a monogamous,
monogamy and polygamy.
find. Yes, because I'm
But
saying
you,
this because we do not want to confront this difficult
the
yet
truth,
important
yeah.
honest conversations about our social life and ethos. We need to confront these things. The same way we don't like to talk about barrenness and sterility,
So you know, you brought up a lot of
John
important points.
and IVF and all of that. We need to start to talk honestly about all of
You know,
them.
you brought
A
up a
man
lot
should
of
be able to
important
say,
things.
I do not, I'm not able to have a child and not feel less of a man for it. And the society should not make him feel less of a man for it. A woman can have issues and not be able to have a child. Society shouldn't make her feel less of a woman for it. It's when we
But let's
continue to put people to this standards and put all of these pressures that they find ways to survive. And lies and deceit is how they do that. So
what
if
about
those things
this?
are not working, why are we insisting on them? Why can't we begin to
Involved.
have different conversations on these matters? That's all I'm saying.
What about this? Instead of us even thinking society should not be putting that pressure on people, on a woman that she's barren or on a man that is sterile, why can't I begin to tell myself, these people are not going to destroy my life? I'm not going to be listening to them to destroy my life, right? Because they are going to shame me for this thing that I have no control over. Like if someone is barren or if someone is sterile, they are not doing, I mean, do you understand? No, you wake up and you find that out,
Also, you do
and
not,
you allow people to put you to shame for that.
you don't
Huh?
exist in a vacuum. You are part of a society. You are
Yeah.
society. So
Yeah, but what?
there's space for individual responsibility and action. If we do not at the societal,
Ladder.
larger societal level, it's going to be difficult. It is going to be difficult. You're just going to be a lone voice, and soon
I agree. Oh.
you'll be drowned
I
out.
agree with you.
Yes.
I agree
So
with
we must
you.
engage. This conversation has to go. Yes, you're right in saying individual responsibility, very, very important. But we also have to extend this conversation to churches, traditionalists. This we have to,
Okay.
as a society, we have to look at all of these issues openly, honestly, and not continue to uphold things that we know that these things are lies and we can't even live up to those things. You know, if we
Mm.
only when we address these issues head on and be realistic and truthful to ourselves, can we find ways to make our relationships, whether it is relationship with, platonic relationship or romantic relationship or family relationship or work relationships, better, until we get to that fundamental level where we look at ourselves and our values individually as a people and start to have these conversations. Nothing would really change, I'm afraid.
Yeah. In fact, another thing that we didn't even talk about is a man wants to marry a woman, and she shows no interest at all in him, right? As a person or physically or anything. And then he just assumes another of the lies that it is because women are not sexual, right? And then he marries her, and she ends up bringing other men's children into the home because she only married him. I mean, I told you about a friend of mine who somebody met him in a public place, and because they had a conversation and they exchanged numbers. From there, she started trying to get him to impregnate her. He was like, I will never do such a thing, you know? What about your husband? Oh, the man, this is that. So she only married the man for every other reason but being interested in him. She deliberately is trying to have children by someone she doesn't even know, someone she hardly knows. So that kind of man would have picked this woman, married her when she's doing that. She's not interested. She's not interested. He's there thinking, believing the lies that society has planted that sex is a man's thing. You know. So all those lies. If somebody shows you something, just accept what they're showing you and stop believing whatever you're fabricating in your mind. They're dealing with a human being there. What they're showing you is what you are going to get from them. Don't give it any other interpretation. Shaya, are you there? Shaya is busy with something else. So I think
I'm here.
No, is there?
yeah, we can close here unless somebody has something else to add, right?
Okay. It's just that I can't I can't I can't fathom or wrap my brain around how the conversation shifted from pure deceit to rationalization that I was feeling. It could be history on my part because like I said earlier, I missed a lot of, chunk of this conversation. But one thing I know for sure is this. If one is claiming that a woman decided to tiptoe outside because the husband cannot father a child, there should be a mutual thing. There should be an agreement between the wife and the husband.
You're right. Absolutely, Shay. That's what we're saying. No one is rationalizing the action of the woman.
Okay.
We're talking
I'm
about
not saying
the
I said that could be history on my part because I did.
everyone from Bishop to Fakorede to myself to Uzo, no one has rationalized or justified the actions.
Yeah,
No.
we're all wanting truth. We're wanting people
Thank you,
to
sir.
be honest.
Now,
So
okay. Now, what another thing is this? Like I said, that okay, if a woman wants to do that, there should be an agreement. Fine. And the other thing is this:
if a woman wants to do
there's
what?
this parties.
What are
If a
agreements?
woman wants to get kids outside, if the husband cannot father a child,
Okay,
I mean, there should be agreement between both parties.
right.
That is
Yes,
even
I agree.
they usually have mixture of the father's, the husband kids with the extramarital affairs father out
Right,
there.
right,
You understand what I'm saying?
right.
So it is not about the man not being able to impregnate a woman. It's about promiscuity. That is just one of the key things that I want to point out in this conversation. Because one check, you discover that out of 5 kids, maybe 1 will be for the real husband, and the 4 will be for. Okay, there's one that I saw now. Guess what? About 5 kids, and then 3. No, about 5 kids, 2 for one man.
Yeah, there are different scenarios for all the different things.
Exactly. So if you just suppose those scenarios, you will see that beyond all this is majorly about promiscuity and lust. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. None of them weighs. None of them is what weighs heavier or stronger than the other, right? They're all.
Promiscuity weighs heavier. I can prove it to you.
We don't need, I don't know if we need proof. We're just saying that if we can be honest.
I just told you. I can say, in fact, don't say one. Promiscuity is higher. Okay, now we are having single mothers, avalanche of single mother, right? We are having single mothers. It's like a pandemic now across the globe. Whatever. Go and check. I am not talking about you. I'm not talking about irresponsible men alone. But I'm saying majorly, at least over 40%, it's about either the husband or the wife not being responsible. So if you are going to talk about that, you now tell me that okay, the avalanche of single mother out there is not one does not outweigh another. No, in social science, there's nothing like that.
I don't understand. What has single motherhood got to do with promiscuity? I understand your point on promiscuity, but single mother and promiscuity, what's the correlation?
No, I'm saying no. When she said that one does not outweigh the other, that was why I just keep in the single mother.
Oh, he's saying promiscuity, right? He's saying that promiscuity is very high. That's what you're saying.
I don't doubt that. I'm not making excuses for the people who go and pass children to other men, saying it's because they are looking for children. I'm sure if there are cases like that, it will be few. It's a personal decision that most I believe made. I don't have statistics to prove it, but I believe it's a better. So I agree with you on that. I was just wondering why the issue of single motherhood came, how it's linked to promiscuity, because the single mothers were not impregnated, they didn't impregnate themselves, men impregnated them. I don't understand. Yeah.
Tony.
Yes.
Tony, now we've been on this journey for a while now. You should understand how my mind is wired. I just use that to debunk my point. You don't understand.
Oh yeah, okay. Yes, just to say that yes, a lot of these people who go out and pass on other people's children to their husbands are driven by lust. I agree. But that's not to say we should not explore these other topics, related topics.
But even the single mothers that you're talking about, don't forget that there are still a lot of single mothers who did not get pregnant who chose to get pregnant through IVF because they haven't got married.
I'm not talking about those ones that are. Like I said earlier on, I said I only use that to tell you that one factor outweigh another factor in every situation.
All right.
Or in any given situation.
Right. I understand what he's saying. He's saying the women aren't going outside because they are looking for and passing children to their husband because
they're sterile. Because the husbands are sterile.
All of that. Otherwise, we would not have the number of single, because women are more than ready to be single, right, and have children on their own. So passing it to men is driven by other factors other than the desire to have children. That's what he's saying. I get you, and I agree largely. Right. That's not to say that some of these issues that Bishop raised, Fakorede raised, aren't germane issues too that we should be looking at. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. But it's always important for you to have you by my flank. so that you will interpret my good intention.
Your good intention. Well, don't forget that we also have our own parts to play or responsibility. I want to reiterate again that if you're with a woman in a relationship, you can use your eyes and your senses to tell that you cannot turn your eyes away from this woman because you cannot trust her. And don't the responsibility is not just only on the cheat, it's also on us ourselves. Because we have people who say the man said I shouldn't ask him, my boyfriend said I should never ask him who is calling, whose purse is that, whose earrings were those, and then you're still going ahead to marry him. What's your own personal responsibility there? Sometimes as a man, you would have been able to stop that if you decided to tell yourself the truth with what you were seeing, right? I'm not trying to victim blame now. I'm trying to remind us that we have a responsibility to be adults and to look out for ourselves. Because somebody I was talking to married somebody who told him before the marriage, you can't touch me when we are in bed. You can't touch me. Well, you're just going to do the thing and procreate, right? And before he married her, there were so many things. She kept on doing so many things. And I was like, why did you marry her? Do you understand? This person is not interested in you. And he was going to get achieve something big in in the eyes of other people. And I said, but was it not clear to you that she was marrying you because of this thing? This thing. Do you understand? But when she kept on misbehaving and even cheating and telling lies, and he kept on finding out, he kept on forgiving her in quotes. But that is not you. When somebody is doing things and you are saying you are forgiving them because you love them, it needs to occur to you as well that perhaps this person does not want this relationship, right? If I actually love someone, I will see, is she enjoying the relationship with me? Does she actually want this thing? So if she doesn't want it, instead of me to be forgiving, or if he doesn't want, instead of me to be forgiving him for alleged misdoings or mistreatments, I should set him free because obviously he's not happy to be in the relationship with me. I shouldn't be saying that I'm forgiving because I'm loving him. I'm only trapping that man because I want him, right? That's another way for us to look at things. If you really love someone, you will see if they're enjoying that thing and not want to keep them to yourself because you feel that you love them. Allow the person to be free. And then, you know, that's another way that we can look at things. I know that Shaya does not like that. Shaya, are you going to say something before we close?
No, no, no. You don't understand. Then you don't know me. You just made a very valid point now.
I've said this thing before many times and you refused.
No. What the way you do it is okay. Now let me tell you my own reservation. You do not give. You are too rigid when it comes to that. Yeah, you are easy with your final decision. That's just my point. I always tell you that to always give love a chance. That's just my own.
That's the giving love a chance now.
No, that's not.
Okay, all right. Another day. That'll be another day.
Okay, so
okay, all right.
Okay.
I think we've stretched. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the conversation.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Ciao, ciao.
And you too.